So hello everyone. Today I'm going to be in conversation with Paloma Rodriguez and Sebastian Rodriguez from the University of Florida about their COIL virtual exchange journey. But before we get started, Paloma, can I ask you to introduce yourself, your institution and what your role is, and then Sebastian after as well.
Thank you for having us. My name is Paloma Rodriguez. I am the director of the Office of Global Learning at the University of Florida. We are the Internationalization at Home office. We have a lot of curriculum internationalization and campus internationalization initiatives. A very important one is our virtual exchange initiative, which I direct.
Okay, thank you, Paloma. Sebastian, what about you?
Yes.
Come in and introduce
And
yourself.
I'm Sebastian Rodriguez, and I'm not related to Paloma, just to clarify. But I am the finance manager for the UF International Center, and I handle all the fiscal and finance matters of the entire unit.
Thank you both. Now, Paloma, I see from the website there's an encyclopedic collection of virtual exchanges with various countries around the world. You clearly have a very big uptake of these opportunities. Tell our listeners a little bit about the journey, the virtual exchange journey you've had at your university and how you built up such a repertoire.
Yeah. Well, we started to become very interested in virtual exchange in 2018 when I was championing an institutional initiative to internationalize the curriculum. And we, thanks to my colleague Mary Reisner, we got in touch with UNICollaboration. So actually, at the very beginning, UNICollaboration helped us deliver the first virtual exchange training, and we learned everything from you. So once we created our own trainings in 2019, we started to offer trainings for our faculty regularly, and we have been implementing virtual exchange projects. Right now, we have maybe between 30 and 35 courses every academic year, and around 2,000 students participating in virtual exchange at our institution with their counterparts in many countries in the world.
Now, Paloma, you've worked really fast because 2018 wasn't really that long ago, and already in 2019 you're doing training. Can I ask, many of our participants during training say, oh, I can't get backing from my institution, we don't have funding, no one is interested in doing it, it's too much work. How did you get such, presumably you've got institutional buy-in and backing and funding. How did you manage to convince the right people to come on board?
I think success is always a combination of different things. One is that to be in the right place at the right time. So I did have an institutional initiative and some funding to get this started. Collaboration is a second very important thing. We were able to partner with academic technologies at the University of Florida, with the Center for Teaching Excellence, with the Center for Latin American Studies. We didn't do this just alone. The third part is what you offer needs to fill a gap. And we have a lot of assessment that my offer runs, identifying student learning gaps in the area of intercultural communications. So we were able to talk to faculty in a language that they understand and engage them in virtual exchange as a way to solve a problem that they themselves had identified, which is students' difficulty in interacting with the people different from themselves. So I think that it's a combined strategy. And I think that's why we keep growing.
Yeah, congratulations. I was looking at the website and I was just thinking, well, I'd like to do that one and that one and that one. So can you tell me, in you've got like archival material, how many of these virtual exchanges are embedded and repeated, and how many of them are just one-offs, or are they all ongoing and repeated?
I think there are over 100, maybe 100 and something right now that have been implemented at the institution. Wow. And I think right now we are around 35 to 40 every academic year. So those are the ones that are repeated. And some people have done their projects 6 or 7 times already.
So they're very well established partnerships that obviously work, and that's how it spreads by word of mouth, really, doesn't it? You were telling me you've done an interesting development, because sometimes when we do training, there's not always an understanding. It's not just the educators that need to do the training, it's the admin staff and the support staff and all the surrounding stuff. And you were telling me about a training course you've done with your staff. So can you outline a bit about that and tell us a bit about that? And then we'll get Sebastian, who was a participant, to tell us about his experience.
So what we think in our institution is that virtual exchange doesn't exist separate from the general internationalization strategy. So what we are doing is using virtual exchange to get internationalization to every corner of the university. We use virtual exchange as coils, right? Like embedded in courses,
Yes.
but also in the co-curriculum. In student life, student affairs activities, we do have virtual exchanges as well. And I discovered, thanks to my involvement with Theo Cardenal Herrera, my colleague Merche Jimeno, that she had started this adventure called COIL for Staff, which is an attempt to internationalize the administrative staff and the professional staff at an institution through the use of virtual exchange. What we do is we pair up professionals in our institutions, somebody from marketing, somebody from human resources, somebody from finance, somebody from student life, with their professional counterpart abroad. And we do a virtual exchange that lasts between maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Wow.
So we extend it throughout the semester, and people talk about their positions, the challenges, what they do at work. So
Okay.
the content is the profession,
I
and the
see.
outcomes are both professional but also intercultural. We do a lot of intercultural activities. So maybe Sebastian can tell you a little bit more about his experience.
Says yes,
Yes. So
Sebastian. You were a participant. Do tell us what did you do? What was the content? What did you have to do? And who did you partner up with? First of all.
yeah, so we did this partnership with the CEU, Cardenal Herrera in Valencia. And since I am in the area of finance, my counterpart was Halina. She is from Ukraine. And we both, and this was an interesting case because sometimes the two institutions are different, and finance is probably one of the areas that the administration, it might not be very easy to compare. So what we did is we ended up doing two different projects instead of one together. And this was very helpful. So in our case, we explored that possibility after we found ourselves that it was hard to find a common ground. And on this particular project, what we did is on her part, she needed to enhance an internal process to request information from students. She was realizing that she was getting a lot of emails. So we came to the conclusion that a QR code would be a better route. So what we did is we shared screens, we shared tools. She explained me the process. And then I will point out things that I was noticing from my standpoint. We find out we use similar tools, and that's the other thing. We know, what do we have in common? Well, we use certain technologies, certain softwares that she might use in a certain way, and we use it in a different way here. So that developed into enhancing one of her um, processes internally, and I did the same here. I was in need of a ticketing system, and well, I explained to her, and that actually, the good thing about this is forcing you to think in a different terms. It makes you think, okay, I have to explain this from someone outside my organization. It makes you self-reflect in a better way, analyze you in a better way, and explain it to someone that has no idea what you're talking about. And that was a great exercise.
So did you have to work out together how to communicate, when to communicate, and how to collaborate? Or did you already have a structure, or were you left your own devices to decide what you needed to do and how you needed to do that?
It was pretty much very free will. I mean, we collaborate, and that's the beauty of things. This forces you also to be flexible, to find where you can find those teaching moments, I guess. So in our case, the flexibility was key, and it was at least it was a really good outcome.
And so motivation was never an issue then for the
No.
staff that Paloma, you found most of the staff really motivated to do this training. Yes.
It's a little bit different than working with students. We invite the supervisors to understand what the program is about. We work hopefully in the future with human resources, but right now we provide also digital badges for participants. We send letters of invitation. So it's a little bit, we do that recruitment. And then we have done also showcases of people like Sebastian sharing what the program
Mm.
was like. The whole entire group from THEU came here to
Oh
visit
wow! So you
us.
actually did a physical mobility as well. That's
Yes,
like a bit.
and we all went to Valencia as well. So that also helped. But right now we are doing another project with Brazil, with UNESP, and another second one with THEU. So we continue to expand because what we found is that there is a lot of intra-institutional benefits
Yes,
because
absolutely.
these are people who are never maybe working together. All of a sudden, they are coalescing around internationalization, which is very helpful to our mission. And also interinstitutional benefits, because now, for instance, this week we have people from THEU visiting us, some of the people in the leadership to maybe write an MOU. So it has lots of benefits. And in terms of motivation, engagement, we did a pre-post survey. We found people became more comfortable speaking with people different from themselves. They found more creative solutions, but above all, they felt that they were visible, that
Mm,
as staff members, they were actually finally participating in something international.
that's really, really heartening. So, Sebastian, what would you say was your biggest takeaway from the experience that you had
I would
collaborating?
say first is that you learn to reflect better on your institution, and then you learn from another institution how, what's their culture, how their media structure, what, if they work by goals. And so you start understanding how another university works, and that's very, very helpful.
Mm,
And then also the cultural aspect. So I would say the biggest takeaway is uh, that to learn about other institutions and how they function, and
mm.
then how I perhaps apply some of those teachings to improve uh, my office or whatever I can influence.
So presumably, Paloma, in the future, you might repeat the virtual exchange for staff on another occasion to kind of update or expand or keep going. Is that something that you would do in the future?
Yeah, we are also trying to improve it by providing extra opportunities for intercultural competence training to the staff members. So Sebastian finished right now what we call the Intercultural Leadership Institute, which is a semester-long program. So combining that with the call for staff in going forward, that would be what I would like to do. Also to maybe Sebastian and I have some ideas about how to talk about job related issues, like how do you run a meeting, like improving our
Yes.
prompts to develop that intercultural competence.
Before I let you go, is there any, either Sebastian, Paloma, both of you, any advice or tips you'd give to other institutions thinking about doing what you're doing? What's a really useful piece of advice you'd give?
We want to create a website with resources for everyone. We are also trying to provide workshops. We did some webinars online. So our idea would be to share everything we have learned with everyone. In terms of putting this together, I would say it is not complicated if you already have a background in virtual exchange. It's only a little bit different because you are with staff and with adults. So maybe partner with your human resources and professional development department and give it a try. It could be like 5 weeks or 6 weeks. It's not really complicated. And you're going to discover that you can harness the talent of all of your colleagues in ways that perhaps you didn't imagine.
Thank you. Sebastian, is there anything you'd like to add to what Paloma's just said?
The professional development aspect, I think it's key for staff. you feel valued and you feel that you are gaining experience, real life experience. So that's an added on benefit for sure.
Thank you, and good luck with your future plans, and thank you for making time to talk to us today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having us.